It's January 2026, and the first news is again the center and state issue. We have the governor who is said to be the agent of the center in the state, and in the opposition, we have already seen this news before that in the opposition ruled states, this becomes a problem that in the before an assembly starts, we know that there's a constitutional mandate that the governor has to address the house in the first house, okay, sorry, in the first day of the session. So the governor in these states, they alter the policy speech in the assembly, and then there is this hohangama that happens in the assembly. This has happened in Kerala, and we have seen it happen in the past in different opposition ruled states mainly. So this is again a governor altered the policy speech in assembly, says Kerala CM. We'll just move as fast as possible because already we are a day late. Governor refuses to read the customary speech in Tamil Nadu. Same, you can see. We'll see reasons for it also because the governors, they give their reasons that this was not mentioned. These rhetorics are not true and all of that. But we'll just know that okay, what's happening is a political drama. We'll skip. SIR order was legislative, aims to purify roles, and obviously the EC is constantly giving answers to Supreme Court that is questioning so many other FIRs, not FIRs, but so many cases that have been filed against the SIR. Then we have governor address flag centers adverse. Okay, so they were obviously these states have obviously they have cried a lot about how funds are not released and the center is they do not release them on time and this and that. So that was being addressed, but the governor did not read it properly, and he actually completely refused to read it as fast as possible. Then we have UGC circular on third language, an attempt to impose Hindi. They believe in two languages. If there's a third language, then it will impose it. So as we know, this edition of the Hindu is Chennai edition. So there will be more news on the southern states. 5 arrested in Rajasthan for large-scale exam irregularities. They had actually tried to manipulate the OMR sheets after submission, and there are some senior level officials, they have been accused for it. Then the gig economy and how the women gig workers are hemmed, means restricted by the new rules, has been talked about here. Not getting into it will take a lot of time. Then we have the Sabrimala gold theft case that is going on, and the real news, you must have seen this, that Karnataka DGP, he has been suspended over the obscene videos that are circulated online. And also we have he's the stepfather of Rania Rao, who was arrested last year for smuggling gold. Then all this political news I'm skipping, coming here to BDO office vandalized in Bengal because of the SIR protests and all that going on in the country. Here also some Noida techie drowned. Obviously you must have seen that, and the CEO of the real estate has been arrested. That he could not be rescued, and after a very long time that he spent there, he had actually drowned. So the real estate CEO has been arrested. Anyway, then we have withdraws families of diplomats from Bangladesh. Bangladesh is heading for an election, and there is going to be a lot of protests, and it is not a safe place now. And therefore, the diplomats that we sent to Bangladesh, their families have been withdrawn. Nitin Nabin, all these news were there. Nitin Nabin, he has been appointed as the BJP national chief, and how Mr. Modi, called him the boss and himself as a karyakarta. So he's the youngest one to be deployed. He's just 45 years old, by the way. Politics is no longer marathon, and here and there some Modi ji and Rahul ji and everyone is saying something. Activists urge Supreme Court to treat hate speech as a constitutional tort. There are so many things that are being said because of freedom of speech that is guaranteed, and it is what a constitutional tort is, a judicial remedy through which the state can be held liable. Okay, so then you cannot get away with hate speeches so easily. So that is what the activists are urging. Serious about holding dog feeders liable. Obviously, we saw that advocate Prashant Bhushan, he told that he thought that the Supreme Court is sarcastic about it, that the feeders will be fined. But Supreme Court is saying, no, we are serious about it, obviously. Dog bite cases have risen so much, and therefore these Congress urges center to ensure reservation in private institutions. Okay, Article 15(5), 93rd Amendment, if you remember, under the UAPA government, I think it was in 2005 that it was brought, where the OBC 27% reservation was allowed not only in public but also in private institutions, and therefore the Congress is urging the center to respect this amendment and look after these OBC reservations. Then we have the DGCA directs the airline operators. They appoint a chief of flight safety, keeping in mind so many aviation and operation small what do you call this the safety measures that have to be taken. So they will appoint a special person for it. Why only female? Okay, why do spiders produce web? First of all, it's an intriguing question you must have asked yourself when you were a child. But why do they make web, and how do they do it? They have a special gland to make silk, and this with the help of this silk that is said to be very very strong, they make these webs. And what is the purpose of it? To trap insects or maybe for their mobility, but they are very very strong. And here there's a discussion on the female Darwins. They are producing very strong webs and all of that. So this is one thing. They are natural removers of insects, okay? Without using any chemical, they can remove it. So the Donroe Doctrine, what is it? Now recently we saw that the Venezuelan president, he was abducted, and he has been captured by the US army, by the US. And therefore there is a call in the international world that, is it the Donroe Doctrine that says that, US is the sole guarantor of peace in the Western Hemisphere, and anybody who tries to interfere will have to bear consequences? So is it the revival of this thing? Because what they did with Maduro and his wife, they incarcerated them in US on charges of undermining the security of the US. So this is not something that the world order permits, right? So there's a different doctrine that is being followed, and here they are discussing it. It is a cause of concern, and the world should come together against such moves, because if they are doing so, then China can also do the same for Taiwan's leader. And anybody who is in these wars are going on here and there, they can simply abduct the person, the military and all of that. So this has been discussed. Then we have the EU boom is accelerating a copper crunch. We need copper and for the EV to take up, and for that we depend on different partners here globally. We depend for the import of copper. So here that has been discussed. Even if I try, I just can't finish it fast. Enhancing China-India youth ties. Some good stats have been mentioned about China's education that I will not miss. Compulsory education of 9 years, that if you see, that was made in China, and it has been, the rate is of the consolidation rate is 95.7%. So they've fared really well here. Then we have around 40% of students who take STEM in their university enrollment, in their university courses. Then we have 50% of the youth that take up vocational training and all of that. So if the youth, both of the country, they allow the youths to come together, there can be exchange of these ideas, and it can be useful for both the countries. Without accountability, this was dealing about the contamination of water and how after the loss has been done, then suspensions and transfers occurred. So prevention is better than cure is what this actually means. To compete with India, we may need India. We'll have to learn from them, obviously, very closely. We can relate also. Importance of packed silica, as we know. Peace and silica is semiconductors, and we know the over-reliance on China has led to the formation of this group, wherein different countries are coming together to reduce the reliance on dependencies of these, and to make sure, or to secure the supply chain. And because we know that AI and any technology that is supposed to skyrocket in the near future needs semiconductors. And so this this body is very, very important for not only the world, but especially for India, that is eyeing on some developments. How reusability can lead, obviously we know the rocket reusability thing has been worked on, especially we have SpaceX who's taking a lead. So if we are able to reuse the rocket technology, then it will be very cost effective to access the space. So here they have discussed that. And we have an envoy that will ensure US government official visits India regular. This one I'll definitely speak. The Nifty It fell 1.38%, the worst fall in 8 months, and so many traders suffered because of it. And there are certain different reasons. The global uncertainty can be one reason, and mainly the small cap and the mid cap indices, they dipped like almost more than 2%, and that has an impact on Nifty, and it saw the largest fall in 8 months. So it was a very bad news for traders. Anyway, if you are bearish in the market, you could have gained. Then we see lakhs of money were swept away. Anyway, then we have lakhs and crores, sorry. Then we come to hiring aspirations remain strong in e-gaming system. We know that ban is a blanket ban has not been given, but still there are certain regulations for e-gaming, but still the talents are being hired in this stream anyway. Non-tax revenue touches 77,000. Anyway, let's move to the next. US orders fade. Chinese salespeople face tough grind. Okay, because of different political tensions that are happening, the Chinese workforce, they are facing, difficulties, and they are trying to look for new markets because they cannot let their profits come down. Okay, they'll have to look for economies where their products are acceptable, and then they can match up to their targeted finances. Okay, Canadian Prime Minister, we know that Canada's economy developed hugely on US, and now with Trump sitting over the US policy, you never know what will happen, and therefore everybody is trying to reduce the dependence on the US, and same goes with Canada. That is the closest one. And we have I breakups this year. Okay, fine. We have I'm here to calm the waters, and obviously we know that there is a tiff going on between the US and the EU, and therefore the speaker is telling that I'm here to calm the waters. And he discussed about how the Greenland and issue is causing a lot of havoc in the Venezuela. How many issues if you take also the Venezuela, the Gaza peace plan, then we have the Greenland issue, then so many more going and signing deals with Taiwan. So US is doing everything to not keep the water calm. Now Trump slams UK's move to hand over the Chagos Islands. So after Britain freed Mauritius in some 1960s, the Chagos Island was not given to Mauritius, and now it is being handed over to Chagos. And now Trump is again having a problem. He says that US base is there, but you know what? The US base has also been secured, and the lease for where these bases are situated has been in like for almost 99 years. The lease has been extended to such places, but still Trump is saying that's why I want Greenland back, because it is at a strategic location in the Indian Ocean, and giving it back to Mauritius, according to him, can be a move in the wrong direction. Any which way, Syria announces a new 4-day ceasefire with the Kurdish-led force. It's going on and on. They sign ceasefire, but then again they break it, and the fight goes on. With threats to take over Greenland, Trump turns NATO against NATO, obviously. They are no more together, fighting against each other. The Donroe doctrine that I spoke about, and therefore South America is becoming extra cautious about it. Whatever happened with Venezuela can happen with any other country. Brazil and the largest democracy there, they are all they're completely standing against this, whatever happened. And Venezuela has good relations with so many South American countries, and therefore they are all resisting whatever happened. Offensive Syria, same thing. Okay, world leaders rivaling Trump's Board of Peace initiative, as we all know that he's trying to put up. Is it going to rival the UN Security Council is a question. Then we have the dress. Why are they rehearsing for? We have the T20 series coming up, the best 5-match series between India and New Zealand, and it's very crucial because we have the T20 World Cup coming soon. Something from WPL and Sinner and Keys. We know the Australian Open is going on, and if you have picked up your favorites, let me mention mine. So in the women, it is undoubtedly Sabalenka. I follow her. I like her also. Then we have, secondly, in the men's, Alcaraz. Obviously, I'm eyeing for what matches Alcaraz is going. The Sinner, he's a good competitor for Alcaraz. So let's see what's happening. Sinner and Keys begin title defense well, and if you have your favorites, you enjoy watching the match more. Then we have Bangladesh. They are still adamant on not traveling to India for T20 World Cup. I think they will be told, okay, you don't come only then. Then some year news is this and that. That's it for today, I think.